Okay, today is Sunday, December 19th, 2021, and I just got a text from my mom in the family chat that she sent to me and my brother, because I assume my dad already knows that our family cat just passed away. A cat that we've had for more than 15 years. He's an old cat, probably 17 or 18 years old, I think. So, no, not that old. Somewhere around 15 years old. Pretty old cat. So, yeah, you can see that I'm not too devastated by it, honestly. It's sad news, but, he was... Last time I was home, I probably, I said goodbye as if it was the last time I was going to see him because, well, he was getting old, so... Anyway, I thought I would make a video right at this moment because, well, just to talk about some things. I figured that's kind of the point of this channel, is to talk. So, the person I feel the worst for my mom. I'll probably call her after this to talk to her. She's the one that's probably hit the hardest by this event. For me, it just makes me think about Dusty, who you might have seen in the background here. I'll get up to him in a second. I know I'll be upset when this cat dies. But he's less than a year old. And I don't think I've ever been closer to an animal than I've been to this cat. Honestly. He has spent every day of his life with me so far. Here he goes up a tree. I'm flipping the camera. He loves walking around the woods with me. I wish I started taking videos sooner. I could have gotten him when he was a tiny little kitten walking around with me. But anyway, yeah. The family cat died. He was getting really old. He was, starting to lose a lot of weight, just getting really slow, sort of just sitting around all day. It's sad. He was a good cat. When we first moved to California, he was used to a slightly different environment. Then we moved to California, and California, where we lived, was full of lizards, like our backyard. Lizards everywhere. And as a cat, he loved to kill things, and it was like a lizard genocide happened when we first moved in. He just killed like so many lizards. It was like because lizards don't run away the same way that mice run away. They just freeze, I think, and so that's why he was able to kill so many of them. There was just dead lizard bodies everywhere. He was just tearing them apart. I think he got bored of it after a while. But yeah, that kind of cat, he was definitely a lot like Dusty, actually. He was definitely an outdoor cat. We used to be driving around the neighborhood. We'd see him like a mile or more away from the house. Like, we'd see him crossing the road as we were driving, more than a mile away from the house. So he had a big territory. And Dusty has yet to build up the confidence to go that far, I think. I haven't seen him that far away. He crosses the street to visit the lady cat over there. I think it's a lady cat. They've been hanging out a lot. I can't get close enough to the other cat to tell the gender, but the sex, I mean. Let me be clear. Is it weird to make a video about this right now? I'm not even necessarily, it's not even like a processing of emotions or anything. I got the text on the car ride home. I was listening to a YouTube video. And the text popped up on the screen. It just said, "Rocket has passed." So a sad moment for sure. He will leave a hole, a gap. But he was getting old. I don't think he wasn't having a good time anymore, so from what I could tell. The other cat's gonna be lonely now. They used to hang out a lot. Feel bad for the other cat. But oh, Dusty's meowing. See, Dusty's too attached to me. Although I think it's probably because he's still young. Hello. See, look at him. He's like, "You got too far away from me." There have been one or two moments where this cat has been gone for too long, and it sort of freaks me out. Also, I had to leave for a couple days, and I just left out a bunch of food and water, and it's just kind of a gamble, when I come back home, I'm always like, is he still gonna be here? And yep, he's been here every time. He runs right up to the car. Every time I pull in to the driveway, he runs right up to the car, right out of the house, right up to the car, nearly every single time. I was trying to record it so I can make like a little video of just every time he runs out of the house, but it's too hard to drive and hold the camera, hold the phone. My mom will be upset. She'll be sad. But she's been talking about getting a dog, and she's been waiting for this cat to, she didn't want to get a dog while we had this really old, frail cat. So she'll probably get a dog now. A little dog. We used to have other dogs, but they've passed on too. So I started this because I wanted to talk about death. I wanted to talk about, that's just stuff I think about. This brings me back to the sort of the Sam Harris realm of things, where the nature of consciousness and death, what happens to a thing when it dies. Back to Dusty. I think different people think about death very differently. It is a thing that out of all things that people might disagree on, out of all things that we have our unique perspectives on, I think death has got to be one of the big ones, right? There's can't be a more disagreed on thing. Some people think that you have an immortal soul that goes on to somewhere else, and some people think that you're just like an insect hitting a windshield, just splattered and boom, you are no more. Your material that was you is rearranged in some way that is no longer you. Like maybe consciousness is just a way the materials are arranged. It's like just to me, I think there is some aspect of the human mind that is substrate independent. Some aspect of being that really is more of a result of the way the material's arranged rather than the material itself. That's what I mean. It's just what we are, what we feel like we are, is really just what it feels like to be a cortex, whatever that means. And when the cortex is rearranged or destroyed, whatever you are goes away. And, you know, they could live on in some sort of meaningful sense through patterns that you leave behind, right? And that's always kind of you leave behind people who remember you, you leave behind things that you built. You had an effect on the world that will ripple throughout time. But I don't see that as consciousness. That's something else. Death seems, if I had to define death, I'd say it's the end of consciousness. Ooh, maybe. Maybe. But what happens when you go to sleep? Do you die? I think the family cat is dead. The cat, Rocket, he's gone. I will never see him again. It's kind of a bummer. He was a nice cat. But I think, as happens with most cats, as I expect to happen with Dusty at some point, they sort of become more distant, right, from the people. That's what I've seen, at least in my life. Like, they start out very friendly when they're small, and then they sort of acquire more independence, and they seem to just care less that you even exist, really. It hasn't been happening with Dusty, strangely enough, though. Although there was one moment where he was across the street with the other cat, and I was like, Dusty, hey, and he just ignored me to hang out with his cat buddy. And that was kind of, I was like, wow, this is what it feels like when you're, you know, it's some creature that I am taking care of has now decided that maybe he doesn't need me so much. Dusty, pose for the camera. See, I hate flipping the camera around all the time. Every time I flip it, it cuts the audio. There's like a little 1 second gap in audio when I flip the camera, which really bothers me, because like I've been saying with this channel, a large part of the motivation for not doing editing, other than the urge to avoid editing, is that I want to have unedited, like, single very long clips that show reality from one point to the next, and no skips, right? Because I could have cheated somehow. I could have altered what I said. I don't want it to be altered. I set up a camera almost exactly in this point, a trail camera once, back when I first moved here, because I wanted to see what lived inside this hole. And I didn't pick up anything over a couple days, so at least during those few days, this particular hole right here, unoccupied. This hole that Dusty has gone next to here. Let's see what's in here. Surely something at some point was living in there. This, like, tree knot. See, Dusty is going to live on forever in the form of a video. Even in the year 2065, you can watch this video and see Dusty captured. Ooh, Dusty captured right here. Maybe someday when I'm an old man, I'll be watching this to reminisce about the old times with Dusty. In that case, hello, old me. What a beautiful cat. What a beautiful cat. Oh, just got a text in the family chat from my dad. Popped up in the top of the screen here. Something about Rocket moving on to a better place is what it said. Something like that. I find it very strange that our family communicates over this text-based system. I try to reduce that as much as I can, or at least be aware of it. And, you know, I believe as a family we should... I'm going to go visit them very soon for Christmas, so I'll probably talk to my mom about the cat at that point. but I believe that face-to-face human interaction is really irreplaceable. Truly, it's almost on a just to get cold about this really fast, almost on a scientific medical level, it is required for your well-being as a human to have face-to-face human interactions, that, you know, real human interactions. So whatever this is here with this YouTube video is not a replacement at all. It is cold. First of all, it's cold. I'm stored in information, packaged up, and then represented to you. So anyway, this is one of those slower videos, one of these dark ones, kind of, maybe not dark. You know, it just rained. It's been raining for like 24 hours straight. I mean, part of the reason I did this, and I think part of the motivation for it was, this is the first sunny moment in the past day or two. It's just nice to walk around with the sun out. Where'd Dusty go? Oh, there he is. Check this out. See, there's that tree that fell. And then he loves going over to this spot. I've noticed that he really enjoys, because you can see the thick plant, he really hangs out around fallen plant material. And that just has to be because that must be where little things are hanging out that he can attack. He killed a mouse the other day, a tiny little mouse. He keeps killing the tiny, most adorable mice. I'll just find like, they're seriously like, I'm gonna flip the camera. Seriously, like Disney level character mouse. Disney level adorableness of mouse that I find dead on my floor. Dusty standing there over it, proudly. Like, look what I did. And I'm like, man, can't you at least kill the nasty looking mice? Can't you kill the rats, you know? Stop killing cute animals. But he can't help it. It is in his nature. That's what he wants. That's what he wants to do. See, always hanging out by the, think of all the critters that must just live within the view of this camera right now. There must be things that just hang out down there, right? Every time that there's what you want, Dusty? Big bushy tail. Every time there's a there he goes. I've been messing around on the land, you know, all over the place, pulling things out. There's, like I said in a previous video, there's a spot with a bunch of garbage piled up, and I had to pull things out. And every time I pull things out, I find snakes and spiders and little creatures, right? There's always creatures, a lot of insects, a crazy amount of insects, and wherever there's a crazy amount of insects, there's a crazy amount of little things eating those insects, and bigger things eating those things. And so there's like a complex ecosystem around here, and it concentrates in places where there's a lot of surface area to crawl around on for a lot of insects, which is going to mean fallen plant material. So basically, yeah, the fallen plant material, Dusty has correctly identified that this is the place to find things to eat for him as well. So it's just where all the critters hang out. So this fallen tree provides a perfect, like in that zone over there that I'm circling, I believe that just provides a perfect area for things to grow and eat, and there's an entire city of life there at the spot where a tree fell and died. Death. Hey buddy, get me some more internet points here. Give me a good pose. He loves me. He loves me. See? Am I using a cat to win internet points, or am I using the death of a family cat to win internet points? Is that bad? Does that make me a bad person? I don't think so. I've seen so much wild behavior to win internet points. I mean, what about these people that give away water bottles to homeless guys and then record it? Anytime there's a camera on, it doesn't matter what you're doing it for attention. So that's what I think. Everybody's lying if they say otherwise. You know, no matter what maybe it's for a good cause. Maybe if I was in this video feeding stray cats or something, you'd be like, oh, he cares about animals, but why'd I record it then? You should have never heard about it. What's the Bible say? Don't trust the guy who's, you know, prays, he's on his knees in public, right? There's some rule about that. Some rule about making your service public, making your service to God public. Like, you need, the righteous man is the one who just does it in the privacy of his bedroom, right? Like, that's, I think metaphorically that just means stop bragging about doing anything for whatever cause. Just the idea that you're telling somebody about it just denigrates it. Like, nobody should know about it, really. That makes it pure. It's kind of what I'm saying here. Anyway, I'm trying to walk down this branch. Check this out. How can this cat get any better right now? Posing on the end of this branch like Simba. Don't move, Dusty, don't move. Perfect spot. Don't move. He's gonna move. Oh, high quality cat content right there. What you meowing about? You got nothing to complain about. Luckiest little cat on the planet. That's what I think. How many cats get a whole house to themselves and then an entire forest to themselves to just... He's technically the apex predator here. I mean, if you don't count the coyotes that are trying to eat him once in a while, but... When I first had this cat, I was so terrified of coyotes. Oh, big jump. I was literally like walking around the house with a flashlight and a crowbar. Not even kidding. Because he was this tiny little cat walking around outside, just outside the front of the house. And, you know, the sun's going down, and I can always hear coyotes out in the woods, and I'm like, wow, they definitely want to eat this cat. So the first few weeks when I had him, I was extremely paranoid. I think my neighbors thought I was crazy. But, you know, I was like walking around with a flashlight and going around the woods, trying to see if coyotes were like lurking around. And I don't think they really are that much of a threat. Like, they're definitely the main threat. Like, if anything's going to hurt this cat, it's going to be a coyote. I already know that. But he has really good instincts. He knows... He seems to be aware of things I'm not aware of, and he's responding to things. I think he knows what he's doing, basically. He does come from a long line of cats that have lived in this area. So... You know, I started this video talking about the death of a cat in the family, and now I'm just recording this cat. See, there's a creek down here too. This is where this creek is. I don't know if you can see in the background. This is it just has to be, especially in the summertime. Like, if this was summertime, I probably wouldn't even be standing here because there would just be spiders everywhere here. For sure. For sure. Every time I shook a tree, there'd be a freaking spider. Every time. There's little insects everywhere. But spiders are the ones that, you know, I'm probably a little bit arachnophobic. That's an actual accurate phobia that I have. If you shake the Twitter tree, then the trans activists fall out. So, and if you shake, you know. All right, I'm leaving Dusty over there for a little bit. He'll start meowing. He'll get upset. Yeah, I was driving home from Home Depot. I just bought some shelf brackets. I'm gonna build a little shelf. I put up some tools on a wall. And yeah, I got this text. It wasn't totally unexpected, but wasn't expecting it at this moment. Right before I got home too, I was about to see Rocket again. I guess not. you know, this is stuff I don't get too worked up about. I don't. And when Dusty dies, I'll probably be devastated. I probably won't make a video at that moment. But I'll probably also be like 40 something years old when that happens, hopefully. So some people get very sad over pet deaths. I mean, of course people do. It just, you know, it has been almost a year since I saw that cat, and I already knew, and it's not like we were very close at this moment anyway. There's been a solid decade of me coming home and he doesn't run up and greet me, you know. He doesn't even know I don't even know if he cares or remembers that I even exist. Every time I'd come home from college, you know, he's a cat. He doesn't give a fuck. So he had a good life. And on that note, I think I'm gonna end this one. I don't know what I'm gonna title this. I have no idea. I might just number 89. Just no number needed. December 19th, 2021. It's a Sunday. Happy Sunday. See you later.